Hi guys. Iglik asked me to do the presentation this time, so hi, I'm Alex, she's Iglika.
But we don't do that every time, you know? But it's okay.
Okay, let's move on, okay? Let's go.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about Italian. And Gianni Rodari, no, not pasta, Gianni Rodari, who apparently is not famous in France.
Never heard of him.
That's crazy, because in Bulgaria you get like first graders learning him. I don't know actually the names of the books in English, like The Adventures of the Little Onion and Stories on the Telephone, which is what we're going to be discussing.
Ironically, I link this author to Bulgaria and to my son's childhood, and not really to Italy or anything like that. To me, it's really completely linked to Bulgaria, and that's it.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, when I opened Wikipedia, there was just like Bulgarian and a couple of other languages talking about it. Oh, look who's here.
We might have a special guest.
Yay, special guest. That's Gato, which in Italian means cat.
And French means cake.
Cool, huh?
Yeah.
So, she's still here, but you can't see her. I actually took 3 extracts from different stories in one of Gianni Rodari's most famous books, you know, the Stories on the Telephone, which are kind of kids' tales, but not only for kids, really. I'm going to read them in Italian. I'm not going to translate them extensively, but for you and for viewers who don't speak Italian, I'm going to mention, of course, what it's all about. And we're going to talk about, language. La pianeta della verità. La pagina seguente è copiata da un libro di storia in uso nelle scuole del pianeta Moon e parla di un grande scienziato di nome Brun. Nota, lassù tutte le parole finiscono in un. Per esempio, non si dice la luna, ma lun lun. La polenta si dice lun polentun, etc. It's one of those that I feel like it's so random. What did he smoke? It's about a planet, the planet of the truth, where everything ends. All the nouns. I'm guessing nome, like names and nouns, is the same word like in French. All the nouns end in un. And I was thinking, I don't know if that's on purpose, but actually the Italian language is known, maybe not among Italians, but among speakers of other languages, it's known as finishing in a pretty uniform way, like always with a vowel. So yeah, would some French people think, for example, that Italian sounds a lot like French with just adding lots of vowels at the end, like os and as and es?
Well, to be honest, there is an element that you don't take into account, and that's really the French specificity. Like we so used to our kind of like really mechanical way of pronouncing things. The kind of like Latin sounding, like the things that that's why I find it extremely amusing when like the let's say some Anglo-Saxons try to caricature French. It's like they really tend to lump in like a lot of Latin cliches that are not there in French. It's very like extremely flat as a language, whereas like Italian is really lots of very lots of modulations, really beautiful.
Okay, so let's focus on this, like the way words are formed in that planet. So it's really a funny thing, like you know, a game with a code, like kids do. You know, like in Bulgarian, for example, we have let's talk patashki, duck talk, and we just end pa in the beginning of every syllable. Like I say pa a, pa legs, pa is, pa si, pa li.
We have verlan, which is basically you take absolutely everything in reverse. For example, in femme, meuf, mec, comme. No, it's great stuff.
Fun. Yes, it's all kind of, you know, you cipher things so people don't get it, and you know the key. This is kind of computing terms, you know, when you have a password or something, you encode it, and people can't decode it. And here what's kind of funny is that you know, for example, la luna becomes lun lun. It means that for a lot of source text, we get the same target text. And that will be considered a vulnerability in an encoding system. That's not a good thing. So, the rules of this system, as we can judge by these couple of examples, are that if we have a word ending in a vowel, we remove the ending vowel and we put un instead of it. But there is an exception. If the word already contains un inside it, like luna, we stop after the un.
Sure.
Okay. So it's a system that, you know, it's not perfect. We can get many things that lead to the same target, the same translation into that language, basically. All right. We can see this, as a encoding system. We can see it as a language. I really like it when there is talk about language inside text.
Okay, I'll tend to kind of brush a broad stroke. I don't know if you can say it like that, but it's a bit reminiscent. If you want to, in my opinion, the most complex example of this is the Cockney slang, with, which is super complicated. Like actually, like using words that was ending sound like the one that they would use instead. It's just like, it's complete mess.
Yeah, it's crazy. Once in high school they asked us to watch Snatch and to actually understand these, which was absolutely
when they spoke in Cockney, it was subtitle, so anyways, moving on.
Moving on, another one that talks about language is il topo dei fumetti, which means the mouse of the comics. You know, fumetti in Italian is, you know, comic books, comic strips. And it's interesting because fuma is, you know, like smoke. Yeah. So like the clouds of smoke that the characters use to talk.
It's very beautiful, very metaphorical. For us, it's just bande dessinée, which is like really like drawn. Like,
and you call it BD?
Yeah, BD, yeah.
Okay. So, un topolino dei fumetti, stanco di abitare tra le pagine di un giornale e desideroso di cambiare il sapore della carta con quello del formaggio, spiccò un bel salto e si trovò nel mondo dei topi di carne ed ossa. Squash! Esclamò subito, sentendo odor di gatto. Come ha detto? Bisbigliarono gli altri topi, messi in soggezione da quella strana parola. Splum, bang, gulp, disse il topolino, che parlava solo la lingua dei fumetti. Deve essere turco, osservò un vecchio topo di bastimento, che prima di andare in pensione era stato in servizio nel Mediterraneo e si provò a rivolergli la parola in turco. Il topolino lo guardò con meraviglia e disse: Zip, fish, bronk. Non è turco, concluse il topo navigatore. Allora cos'è? Vatte la pesca. Così lo chiamarono Vatte la pesca. E lo tennero un po' come lo scemo del villaggio. Vatte la pesca, le domandavano. Ti piace di più il parmigiano o il groviera? Splint, gronk, zizir, rispondeva il topo dei fumetti. Did you catch all this onomatopoeia?
Yeah, the onomatopoeia pretty similar to ours, so at least I got that.
Okay.
And I got the formaggio.
Yeah, these are the names of cheese, basically. The mouse.
Yeah.
So bad it can't understand the names of cheese. Or maybe it can, but it's answering in its language, onomatopoeia language of comic books. And here also it's called a language. One of the characters, you know, an old rat sailor, thinks that it's Turkish because he spent some time in the Mediterranean.
You would be familiar with some Turkish words. Like
Bulgarians are familiar with some Turkish words. Should talk about that sometime, maybe. Right. Do you also have the expression, like, you know, the drone mouse found itself near mice that are di carne ed ossa, of flesh and bone.
The shell and os.
We have this too, of potikrov.
Yeah, so I think it's a universal one.
Alright, you know, I really like onomatopoeia. It's a fun thing. You know, in Japanese, obviously, it's a big thing. And they even have it not only for sounds, they have it like for staring at someone. You know, that's the sound of staring at someone.
Like something shining is piku piku.
That's really cool.
Pikachu.
And then
no, Pika. Oh, Pika.
Pika, no?
Yeah.
Pika, pika.
Pika Pika.
Okay, and you know, also in English, I really like these sounds. You know, what we do sometimes when we watch English films, well, English language films with subtitles in English, we get all these things like birds chirping, and sometimes like the words are so crazy we laugh about them.
Kind of music.
Right. And then I told you this one, how they called him. Vatte la pesca, like what is his name? And the character says vatte la pesca, like go figure, I don't know. And it's written of course in one word with a capital. In Italian it's go fish it. Like, so it's one of those, you know, and that became his name. So it's one of those kangaroo stories, you know, kangaroo, which of course is a made up story from what I know, but it's like, I don't know, and then kangaroo got to be called kangaroo when it just means I don't know in an indigenous language. Yeah. So basically the same story. It's kind of a common story.
It's like was is das in bistro, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's cool stuff also. Okay, and third one. La strada che non andava in nessun posto. Can you tell what that means? La strada, the street, che non andava in nessun posto.
Che non...
That didn't go anywhere. And we're going to talk about double negations. All'uscita del paese si dividevano 3 strade. Una andava verso il mare, la seconda verso la città e la terza non andava in nessun posto. Martino lo sapeva perché l'aveva chiesto un po' a tutti e da tutti aveva avuto la stessa risposta. Quella strada lì non va in nessun posto. È inutile camminarci. E fin dove arriva? Non arriva da nessuna parte. Ma allora perché l'hanno fatta? Non l'ha fatta nessuno, è sempre stata lì. Ma nessuno è mai andato a vedere? Sei una bella testa dura, se ti diciamo che non c'è niente da vedere. So that's like lots of double negations. I just wanted to note these. Of course, there is the paradox of like a road that can go nowhere, which it just obviously can't be. But I'm like more fascinated by the language because we have double negation. We got non and nessun, which are both negative words. Well, in French, that would be
ne pas, right?
No, nulle part in this case.
Nulle part. Okay, I see.
But you know.
For example, would be la rue n'arrive ne va nulle part. Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds a bit like a double negation, but it is not a double negation because ne is not necessarily a negative particle, which is a bit like in English. You know, doesn't go anywhere. We don't have doesn't go nowhere. That would be a double negation. We have does not, but then we have any, which is a bit like the French.
Makes me think of someone learning French who was really into the petit nœud supplétif, which is like the nœud that would actually accompany the negation. And I've noticed I had some colleagues that in Bulgaria that would say something like ne pas jamais. Like it's something that
not needed, ne jamais.
I guess in Bulgarian, like it just doesn't exist, right? I never think about it, but
in Bulgaria that would be just like in Italian. For example, улицата, която не отива никъде. We have both ne and we have никъде, nowhere. So it is a proper double negation in Bulgarian.
Okay.
Which, you know, when you think about it in terms of logic, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't не отива никъде. It doesn't go nowhere, so it goes somewhere. It makes no sense, basically.
Yeah.
And that's something I studied in Japanese not long ago. You know, when you ask a question, but like you ask a negative question, for example, like, oh, are you not ready yet? You have to say that you are not ready yet. You would say no in English. And if you say yes, that would be, I am ready. So, and in French, it's like that too. you're responding to kind of the general positive or negative of the concept, you're not responding to the words of the person you're talking to. Well, in Japanese, you're absolutely responding to what the person is saying. It's like, are you not ready? Yes, it means I'm not ready.
It can get highly confusing.
And in Bulgarian, we can do both, basically.
Yeah.
Both are okay. It will be mostly the tone that will make you determine what's right.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's right, highly confusing in Bulgarian.
Okay, maybe enough? What do you think?
Yeah, I guess it's good.
Okay, thank you guys, and you know, if you want to add, like in your language, how you make the negation, please do so. We will be very curious.
Yeah.
See you! Bye-bye!
Bye. All the YouTube stuff, like, comment and stuff.
Oh yeah, please do.
Subscribe, I guess.
Please do.
Ring the bell, whatever that is.
Yeah, there's like
I know
a
they say
subscription
that,
bell.
but yeah.
There's like a little bell.
Oh, I'm such a boomer. See ya, guys.
See ya!